So I just spent the last 60 days exploring all the most popular destinations in the Philippines that expats are recommended to go to. And I observed in myself some things that I was not expecting. And I also see it echoed in many comments by men on videos in this genre. Now, I don't consider myself a desperate man. I'm not going overseas to find a wife. I'm not trying to find completion or anything like that. I'm going overseas to retire primarily for financial reasons, and I'm doing it with a clear head, and I'm not seeking any particular thing in the Philippines. However, with that said, I noticed that the Philippines and countries like it are the perfect playgrounds to have any flaws or weaknesses in our character or any psychological gaps to be exploited, where those weaknesses can get oxygen, and there are people there who will be that equal and opposite response to those weaknesses in our personality. And I don't want you to be surprised by it. So I want to talk about that today and give you some awareness about this concern to avoid any negative consequences from it. But fair warning, some of what I'm going to say might sound a little metaphysical or new agey, but I have to go there. There's no way of getting around it. So just bear with me. So here's what it looks like when this starts to catch up with you. You start engaging with people, particularly women, that you didn't expect to. You might find yourself spending more time on dating apps like Tinder or Bumble. You start exceeding your budget, and perhaps you start helping people financially that you have no real business helping. You start making decisions that you would never make back home, taking risks, compromising your budget, making just bad decisions that are out of character for you. You might possibly rearrange your itinerary to spend time with someone that you weren't expecting to, or taking on expenses to make that happen. You might tell yourself that the thing you're creating or about to create with this person feels very real, or at least feels appropriate, and that you're being cautious. At least that's what you tell yourself. But underneath it all, you're actually lonelier than when you landed in the Philippines. You feel more empty, not less. And here's the cruel part. The more you chase it, the worse it actually gets. The Philippines didn't do that to you. You actually walked in the door with issues, and the Philippines just amplified it, magnified it, or brought it to the surface. Some of the issues are subtle, some of them are very overt, but the Philippines has a way of bringing them out. Basically, I'm talking about character flaws, and the Philippines has a unique way of bringing these to the surface, where your best characteristics can be at war with your worst characteristics. So what I want to do in this video is give you a way of recognizing what energy you're bringing to a situation before it runs away from you. Because if you can see it, you can choose what to do with it, and that changes everything. All right, so before we get too far into this, let's start with a metaphysical concept, which is this: that every issue that we have as men, every flaw, every weakness, every past trauma, every unhealed part of ourselves is going to play out as behavior patterns. And this is actually a good thing. They will play out because we need to grow and to address these weaknesses, preferably sooner rather than later. And if we fail to address them, they will get magnified until we must address them. So one teacher that I really like has an expression. It goes like this: don't worry, it'll get bigger. Meaning our problems will manifest as bigger and bigger issues until we either slay them or they slay us. So our issues are small at first, subtle whispers, but after years of neglect, our issues will manifest as full-blown beliefs and resulting actions, manifest as people or situations, relationships, health issues, sometimes as anger, even in worst cases as disease or prison sentences. All issues push us towards circumstances that give us opportunity to grow, to heal. And if we refuse to take that on, those issues will manifest as bigger and bigger problems until they can no longer be ignored. So if you can accept that premise, then this video will be helpful. Because what I'm saying is that everyone, including you, including me, has issues. There is no one alive, literally, that does not have issues. It's why I think we're here on Earth in the first place, to work through the issues. And what I found is that the Philippines is more likely than the US or Canada for single men to come face to face with their issues. The entire modern world, as a matter of fact, I think is designed to exploit your flaws, but it can get amplified in what regular guy calls the Philly Willy. So you need to anticipate this and hopefully go in with full self-awareness so you can see it when this starts playing out, and hopefully have some kind of plan on how you're going to respond. So let's go through some examples of how this plays out in the real world, particularly in the Philippines. Last week, I watched a video of an expat who'd been in the Philippines for 4 years and he's ready to leave. I'm not going to name names, but he admits to having PTSD and depression, and he's feeling the death by 1,000 cuts narrative. So he's come to the conclusion that he needs to leave the Philippines. And his main complaint is that Filipinos are just after his money, that they cannot actually love an American because the money is the most attractive thing. Now, that is his truth, but as many married men in the Philippines can tell you, he's wrong and that true love can be found. But for that guy, his personal issues are coming to light to be healed. His circumstances are now an opportunity to grow. Now, he may or may not take advantage of that opportunity, only time will tell. But his mistake, and the mistake that we all make as men, is to find fault with the circumstances that we find ourselves in instead of realizing that the circumstances manifested for our own benefit. In other words, to provide the fertile ground to work through our core beliefs and our personality flaws, and hopefully to heal them once and for all. Let me give you another example. Someone insecure who's been marginalized by American women find that the attention they can get by Filipinas is actually intoxicating. And so they overspend because they have trouble saying no financially, because deep down they think if they say no, then the attention is going to go away. And that is too painful to contemplate. To avoid the pain of feeling that insecurity, they spend money, essentially converting emotional pain into financial pain. Again, it's an opportunity to heal. Another example is with sexual kinks. Now, I don't judge most kinks. For many men, their kinks and fetishes lay beneath the surface of their awareness, and they're dormant because acting them out is either too much effort or too difficult, or the risk of getting caught indulging them is too great in the USA. But as a stranger in a strange land in the Philippines, with money to spend and people willing to help you spend it, your kinks may come to the surface to be explored. You got to ask yourself, are you prepared for that? And what if your thing turns out to be with another man or with a lady boy? Are you prepared to revise your definition of what defines your sexuality? Most men are not. Are you prepared for self-judgment? I'm not Dr. Ruth, but a lot of men struggle with shame when they find themselves engaging with new types of people that they didn't plan for. And if this idea of exploring your sexuality makes you feel angry or annoyed, then you're exactly the person who needs to hear it. Don't click away, just buckle up, because you might be in for a wild ride in the Philippines. If you've ever associated sex with validation, meaning you use sex as a way to not feel lonely or to have some kind of connection with someone, issues with sex addiction come fast and furious in the Philippines because opportunity is everywhere, particularly in big cities like Manila, Angeles, or Cebu City. And a word of warning, even men with no history of sexual addiction, but who do have any kind of trauma or sexual abuse in their past, may find that the Philippines is a location where this trauma starts to come out, to be acted upon, and hopefully to be healed. Another example is with alcohol. When alcohol gets cheaper and you have more time on your hands to drink, and fellow expats who are willing to help you normalize day drinking, you might find yourself drinking too much. So a bad habit that you thought might be behind you could come roaring back to life. So what will you do if this happens? Are you secure in your sobriety? Are you sure it will stand up to additional stress and loneliness? Think that through. Feel your way into it in advance. Anger is another one. I've mentioned my struggles with anger management on this channel in many previous videos, and trust me, the Philippines will give you ample opportunities where your anger management skills will be tested. If you have that issue, you will not be zen in the Philippines. Anger will come out at people, at processes, at the lack of infrastructure, at the corruption, at the lack of forward progress, or at the women, or possibly even towards all of those things. So while frustrating, it is an opportunity to tackle it head on. And if you choose not to tackle it head on, don't worry, it'll get bigger. So for me personally, the behavior of drivers brought this out. I was ready to physically confront drivers who got a little too close to me when I was crossing the street or who didn't yield to pedestrians. I felt like my space or my safety was being disrespected, and I was attempting to assert my rights in a place where those rights don't really exist. Now, fortunately, there were no escalations, but it definitely could have happened. And that's a flaw in me that the Philippines brought right to the surface within a matter of days. I could go on and on with examples, but hopefully you get the idea, which is that men who seem perfectly healthy and perfectly adapted in the United States or Canada might find that they come to the Philippines and face a range of issues that they never expected to face because those issues were dormant in the West, but activated and triggered in the East. I mentioned desperation in the title of this video, but it also applies to every other type of insecurity, character flaw, or weakness that flies in the face of feeling complete, whole, and healthy. As many long-term expats can tell you, being an expat forces personal growth. Sometimes that growth is openly wanted and welcomed, and other times you get blindsided by it and you have to address it whether you want to or not. So are you willing to bend, to adapt, to grow, and to become a better person? For me, I spoke in another video, which I'll link to it above, about my fears and concerns about having no specific purpose or goal in life to keep me grounded or to feel like I'm making a positive contribution to the world. Having plenty of time and money let loose in the Philippines as a single guy, well, it's risky. If you don't have something specific to gravitate towards with intention, with purpose, and with focus, or if there's something missing in you, well, there's a gravity in the Philippines that may pull me or you into its orbit. It could be sex, alcohol, drugs, reckless spending, hedonism, nihilism, superiority complexes, bitterness, anger, resentment, etc. So you have to be aware of the risk. You need to anticipate it and be ready to address your issues as they come up. Many single men over the age of 50, especially if they have a divorce under their belt, are in need of serious therapy but have never actually gotten it. So the Philippines is going to be that therapy, like it or not. It's going to give you plenty of opportunity for healing, to deal with unresolved trauma. They will come up. That's just the reality. That's what no one wants to talk about or to hear about. So if you're still watching the video, then I applaud you, because you likely have what it takes to succeed, but only if you're willing to grow as a person. And I'm not saying you have to get formal therapy, but you do need a willingness to see your flaws in the mirror, to be able to recognize when it's happening, and be willing to feel pain for a little while and then figure out how you're going to address it, either on your own or with a professional's help, or you might just numb your pain with women, sex, alcohol, or hedonism. And if you choose those options, there's a good chance your time in the Philippines will not end well. You'll come back to the United States eventually with a broken heart or a broken wallet, a broken body, or anger and resentment that eats away at your soul, which can cause feelings of bitterness, betrayal, and possibly depression. So with all that said, I think many men are in for an unexpected journey when they retire overseas. It might just be more than you bargained for. But if you're willing to man up, and I say that gently, meaning face your fears and your weaknesses head on, bit by bit, little by little, then you're likely to succeed. So my hope is that by sharing this idea with you, you can anticipate that personal growth is going to happen, that you look forward to it. You can think through in advance whether or not you're willing to heal your wounds from the past. A lovely little Filipino wife might be just the thing you need, the person that helps you through all of that. Or she might be the person that drives you to the edge of insanity, and she might be the person onto whom you project all of your issues. She might be the personification of your worst nightmare. Now, who controls which experience you get? Well, you do, but it's always about what's going on inside of you. And for those of you who are knowingly retiring to the Philippines to find a wife, I do have a special caution for you. And that caution is to really examine your true motives, your deepest motives for wanting a wife. Not the obvious surface motivators, but the deeper unspoken motivators. What are the beliefs that make you think finding a wife will actually improve your life? I'm not saying she won't improve your life, but I'm saying that for you in particular, if your deepest motives are still a mystery to you, if they're unexamined beliefs or feelings or wounds driving you towards marriage, then you are more vulnerable than you realize. So heads up, your issues, your flaws, they will get bigger. So commit to tackling them, to working through them, because if you don't, your new wife will see them, will bear the brunt of them, will be the one to call you out on them, and she may have the ability to financially strip mine you. But don't blame her if that happens. That's just the universe giving you fertile ground in which to see your issues and to resolve them once and for all. And if you don't choose to resolve them, then that's okay too. But rest assured, your issues will get bigger until they get your attention so completely that you have no choice but to resolve them or die trying. So tell me what you think in the comments. Am I right? Am I wrong? Have you seen this play out in other people or possibly in your own life? Do you think you're somehow immune from what I'm describing, which is essentially a law of the universe, that your issues are there, they are driving your motivations, they do give rise to circumstances that give you the opportunity to shed light on what's going on inside you so that you can address it, heal it, move past it. And when you do that, you'll never have to deal with these issues again. But if you don't choose to address them, they will keep recurring. You will see a recurring pattern in your life of similar circumstances. It's not the universe trying to work against you. It's actually the universe, I think, trying to help you, to bring you opportunities for personal growth. But if you reject the opportunity, well, it's going to be a pattern. So if you know someone who's about to go overseas or retire to the Philippines or Thailand or Vietnam or Southeast Asia, please share this video with them. It's really helpful to have people point out that you are bringing yourself to your new environment. And no matter how far you go around the world, you can't outrun or escape your own issues. You are the common denominator in your life. And I thought I wasn't going to be dealing with any of these issues, but man, in just a few days in the Philippines, things started to come to the surface. So I'm not criticizing you. I'm just being open and vulnerable and pointing out that this happened to me, and I want for you to anticipate that it's going to happen to you too. All right, I hope you found that helpful. I really want to know what you thought on this one. Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks so much. See ya.